Today, we're looking into a tragic case from Delhi, where a 22-year-old woman was murdered in her own home. We're going to follow the evidence, really walk through it from the crime scene to the autopsy room to understand how investigators are piecing together her final moments and the story that forensics can tell when a victim no longer can. This one sentence really gets to the heart of this tragedy. It shows two things: the absolute brutality of the attack, and on the other side, the fierce struggle of a young woman trying to survive it. And it's the forensic evidence that's now giving a voice to that fight. So let's start with the basic facts of the crime. All right, so first up, a brutal crime uncovered. At the center of this story are two people. First, a 22-year-old woman, the daughter of an IRS officer with a really promising future. And second, the man accused of ending her life, someone the family knew and at one point had even trusted inside their own home. And the details here, they just paint a chilling picture. See, this wasn't some random attack. It happened in her rooftop study, her safe space, a place where she was working towards her dreams. The timing was so precise, a Wednesday morning in that short window of time when her parents were at the gym. And the suspect, well, he wasn't a stranger. He was the family's former domestic help who'd been fired. That detail alone points to something premeditated. Okay, so now we shift our focus from the crime scene to the forensic lab. And this is where the evidence becomes incredibly personal. It's the story being told by the victim's body itself. This is where that phrase, her fight to save her life, becomes tragically clear. The autopsy report lists abrasions, bruises on her arms, her hands, her legs. Those are the unmistakable signs of a desperate struggle. The evidence points to a violent, sustained attack with just severe trauma to her face and her neck. Every single injury documented here is a piece of the story of her final moments. And so the autopsy concluded that the official cause of death was asphyxia by strangulation. Simply put, she was deprived of oxygen. It's such a stark clinical term for the violent end to the struggle we've just seen the evidence for. But the forensic investigation doesn't stop there. Important samples, things like nail scrapings and swabs, have been preserved. And there's a crucial reason why: to determine if she was also sexually assaulted, which is a suspicion the police are actively looking into. These tiny pieces of evidence could be the key to understanding the full, horrific scope of this crime. So, you've got the forensic evidence from the victim's body. What's next? Well, investigators then take that and combine it with other clues, like CCTV footage, to build a clear timeline of the attack itself. And that CCTV footage creates this incredibly stark timeline. Think about this. At 6:30 in the morning, the suspect, Rahul Meena, is seen entering the area. By 7:20 a.m., less than an hour later, he's caught on camera leaving. The entire attack took place in that tight window, ending just moments before her parents were due to get home. Based on all this, police have reconstructed the crime into 5 distinct steps. It starts with him using a spare key to get in. Then, the attack. But what happened next shows this disturbing shift. The motive seems to turn to robbery. He allegedly dragged her downstairs to try and use her fingerprint to open a locker. When that didn't work, he broke it open, stole valuables, and then he deliberately changed his blood-stained clothes before leaving. It's a sequence that suggests a really chilling presence of mind. All right, so with a clear timeline and a detailed reconstruction of the crime, the manhunt for the primary suspect was officially on. And the search was swift. Police tracked Rahul Meena to a hotel in Dwarka, and he was arrested. But his capture, well, it would soon reveal another very disturbing layer to this entire story. And this is where the story takes an even darker turn. Investigators now allege that just hours before the murder in Delhi, Meena had committed another violent crime hundreds of kilometers away in Rajasthan, the rape of his friend's wife. This separate allegation, it just paints a picture of a suspect on a spree of violence, adding a profoundly disturbing context to his profile. So, all of this really leaves us with one final crucial thought. In a case like this, when the victim has been silenced, how does justice even find a voice? The answer really lies in the science. The bruises, the fractures, the DNA, each piece of forensic evidence becomes a word, a sentence in a story that absolutely has to be told. It's just a powerful reminder that even in the face of such an immense tragedy, the evidence itself can speak.